Hi, everybody. Robin here at Toadstool Tarot. Welcome back. We're here each and every Saturday. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It helps. I haven't managed to get over the 2,000 hump. Actually, I'm sort of stuck on 1,900 subscribers, something like that. Anyway, you can help me. I'm glad you're here. Oh my goodness. Hello, Patrice. Haven't seen you in ages. Welcome. We're here today for something very special, particularly if you're fans of Patrick Valenza. Now, I haven't looked to see if there are other walkthroughs of this yet. Hi, Tom, Early Ritual. Hi, Ange, Roots and Waves. So I'm going to do a flip through or a walkthrough today of a new deck by him. Now I am not what I consider one of those Patrick Valenza super fans, or we might say addicts of Mildred Payne's Asylum, but I'm enough of a fan that I keep being drawn back again and again to buy decks by him. I don't own them all, but I do own quite a few. Hello, SCB. Thank you. Yeah, I am a little bit better. I mean, I've had a cold since last Saturday, and I had to do a kind of a pre-record last Saturday. I am live today, but I still have. It takes me longer to get over colds than I used to. I used to get over a cold in 3 or 4 days. Now, in my old age, it takes me about 2.5 to 3.5 weeks to get over a cold. So anyway, this one's been here for about a week. Hopefully I can talk today without coughing too much. Might have to keep sipping on a little fluid. Hello, Saskia. Welcome. So, as I said, there's a new Patrick Valenza deck out. This is for fans of Patrick and also fans of Lenormand. Oh, hi, Kristen. Hi, Simon. And I know Simon's not particularly a Lenormand fan, but I do know he's a big Patrick Valenza fan. So I suspect he will get one or both of these or many more if there are variations issued. When I ordered this deck, I just ordered the main one. It's the Lenormand Della Luna. And I don't know whether it was an error on Patrick's part or just a very generous thing on his part. He also sent me the paradoxical version, so I have both. And I debated whether to share them with you one at a time or both together side by side. But I think that it might be better side by side if you're kind of judging them against one another and trying to decide if you want one or the other rather than both. Now, I should say I am not a super Lenormand fan either, although I do use them. I'm also a big majors only fan, and a lot of people don't do that. I tend to combine my own majors only deck readings with my own Lenormand deck instead of doing a full deck with majors and minors, although I read with those as well. Anyway, I got this box in the mail. I won't show you my address on it, but I'll open it right up. It came with, the cards got bent. It came with a big kind of postcard, the Lenormand Della Luna. This is very much in keeping with the design work of his Trionfi Della Luna, if you know that. He has both a pit version and a scenic version. I have both of them. He also has paradoxical versions, which I do not have. But on the flip side of this card is the paradoxical image of the Lenormand Della Luna. And actually, I still don't own a copy of the Deviant Moon Tarot. I never quite took to it. I was always kind of waiting for it to come out in a tin. It never did. I think there might be a bootleg in a tin. I haven't got that. It recently came out in a mini version, but the miniature version is much too small for me, and I was kind of hoping US Games would put it in a tin, but they didn't. Anyway, in addition to that card, it also came with this card from I'm not sure which deck, but he has released a number of other sort of restorative kind of Marseille type decks, and I assume this is one of them. And inside, there is no guidebook for the Lenormand Della Luna, other than a printed out 8.5 by 11-inch sheet where you've got the cover and you've got a little bit of information there, and then you've got the interpretations for the cards. There are 36 Lenormand cards, in case you didn't know. So it's just a few keywords, and then on the back there's a statement and a sort of a illustration and a 3-card kind of spread thing. And Lenormand, people don't often do 3-card spreads, but I do them all the time. So there you go. Now, these decks surprised me that they came in tins. And the tins, let's see if I've got a US Games tin. Yes, I do. They're not the same size as a US Game. Well, even the US Games tins aren't uniformly the same size, but here's one, and you can see his tin is a little bit wider and a little bit shorter, and also less thick. But I think these are the first, as far as I know, these are the first decks that Patrick has put out in tins. And it's a little hard for me to tell whether they feel like it might be labels on the tins rather than printing on the tins. There is a nice lip here to be able to get hold of to get the lids off. But I already have a scuff mark on my paradoxical version, so I'm not really sure if that's printed on the metal or if it's a label on there. If it's a label, I wouldn't think I'd have a scuff mark, but this one will show. My light's not very good here. This will be really hard to see. If you look at is it the A? No, you can't see it. Somewhere here there's a scratch or a scuff mark. But yeah, it doesn't, it feels a little slightly raised, but I can't tell if that's the edge of a label or the ink. I think it's a label. I think they're labels on there. But they're nice kind of matte labels. Anyway, so you have the front of the box and the back of the box. And when I originally saw these, I thought, oh, I like that, the look of that. It has a very traditional look. And I don't generally like hearts with all the viscera, you know, all the aortas and the, what do you call them? All the open kind of valves and not valves, what do you call the cords and tubes and things hanging out? But I kind of like it combined with the crown and the flowers and everything. And the colors are really kind of nice. The colors of his Della Luna Tarot really appealed to me to begin with. And then you've got here, this is the paradoxical version. Again, if he tunes in, I'm very thankful that you sent me both of these. I only wanted the one, but it's nice to have the two, particularly for a situation like this, so I can share them with people. Now, these cards are, it turns out, they're the same size. If any of you have Mildred Payne's Secret Pocket Oracle, excuse me, there's a sample of her Secret Pocket Oracle. And then here we have the Lenormand next to it. And he's got his branded backs there with the Deviant Moon backs. No copyrights, thank goodness. And let's see. I like this size card. I don't know if this is like a sort of a bridge or poker size card. They're a little bit bigger than the tarot in a tin type, but they are the same size as the deluxe edition of the Secret Pocket Oracle. Now, might as well dive right in unless we have any questions. Oh, Sandra's here. Welcome, Sandra. Who else popped in? I don't know if I missed anybody else. I think everybody else is here. So, Gallery of Hallucinations Oracle. I haven't seen that one, Ange. I'll have to look and see if I can find a walkthrough for that. So here we have, now these are numbered. They don't have the playing card associations that we often get on Lenormand cards. They don't have the names on the cards. So you might use this as an oracle if you prefer, rather than Lenormand. But here we have the card number 1, which is the Rider. Very sweet, chubby little cherub on a griffin, possibly. I'm not sure what kind of creature this is. This is the Rider, which is the number 1 card in Lenormand. And you've got the paradoxical version in addition to the regular version. Let's see. Here's the Clover. Oh, now I've got them backwards. What did I do here? Just a second. Bear with me, please. I got a couple cards out of order. It's a little tricky doing stuff back to front here. All right, well, let's see if that works. Okay, so that's the Clover, card number 2. Not crazy about the blood dripping out of the stem, and the eye in the middle, but you know, that's Patrick for you. And we got a rainbow in the background. Sandra likes the eye in the middle. Number 3 is the ship. Nice ship with a devil masthead and moons on the sails. Very nice. Card number 4 is the House. I don't think anybody who has any of the paradoxical decks is surprised by the coloring in these. It seems pretty typical. The paradoxicals are typically backed in blue, and the regulars are typically backed in maroon, which these are consistent with. This is an interesting one. Number 5, the tree. He sort of anthropomorphized the tree with a female body. Tom says, I don't need another Lenormand, and I won't use. I don't need another. Oh, so are you getting it, Tom? We'll probably order it before the live is over. I'm a weak tree. Oh, weak man. Sorry, the chat skipped. Cool tree card. Yeah, I like it too. So now some of these veer off of the meanings, but a little bit. But yeah, they'll work. They'll work. Card number 6 is the clouds. Typically, we have clouds where one side is darker than the other, so you get a sense of either moving to or from a darker portion of the sky. Now, he doesn't really do that here. So you're left to a much more obscure kind of interpretation, I suppose. Okay, get ready for this one. Number 7, the snake. This is sort of typical of one of his characters. We've got a snake with multiple breasts and a deviant moon type face. Christian says, I may have to get this someday, only if I try to start learning, though. Oh, is Tony here? Antoinette, yes, welcome. And if you tuned in late, you can scroll back as soon as we're over and catch what you missed. Number 8 is the coffin. If I was to buy this, it would just be because it's a Patrick Valenza deck. I wouldn't use it. I still want it, though, says Simon. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured. I do use Lenormand. I don't attribute the same kind of value to them as I do to tarot. And I'm happy. It's not about the number of cards. There's something more universal to me about the tarot, and something a little bit more mundane about Lenormand. Lenormand feels sort of like your daily planner versus your autobiography or something. Like your autobiography is like your whole life in one book, like your family Bible or something. And your daily planner is like stuff to get you through each day of the week. And for me, that's kind of the difference between tarot and Lenormand. But I don't know, maybe I'm diminishing Lenormand. A lot of people really swear by and even prefer Lenormand. Next, we have the bouquet or the flowers, number 9. Now, again, these are not labeled. I just happen to know what they are. But if you get this and you're confused, you have that printout paper sheet with the keywords, so it will indicate which card each one is. This is a little bit of a slightly questionable bouquet gift, from this sort of furry devilish arm to a pale white porcelain hand, and sort of tentacles creeping out of the flowers with eyes. Tony says Lenormand just doesn't work in her brain. She only bought them for some reason. Kristen says tarot seems deeper, the potential to be more spiritual. I don't think Lenormand is that difficult to use, really, honestly. I mean, like tarot, there are so many levels and depths you can apply to it if you want to add Kabbalah, numerology, astrology, whatever, or you can just read the card images. I feel exactly the same way about Lenormand, just like treat it like an oracle and read it, you know? I guess people feel like there's a right and wrong way to do things, and if they don't learn the academic way to do it, then somehow their practice is invalid. I don't feel that way at all. I mean, you don't have to go around telling everybody, just use them. Here we have the scythe, number 10. Bloody scythe. Number 11 is usually the whip or the broom. He didn't give us a choice. He just, in Patrick Valenza style, he gives us the whip, no broom. In my deck, I give you a choice of either, but maybe I shouldn't have done that because I end up leaving them both in my deck. I read the broom and the whip slightly differently, and I kind of like having both cards in the deck. Here is a beautiful card, number 12, the birds. These are sort of anthropomorphized birds a little bit. Beautiful colors in this one. Tom says, I just have not clicked with the Lenormand system for whatever reason. Oh, hello, Levi. Hello. Masculine intuition readings. Sandra loves the birds. These are beautiful birds. Then we have 13, the child or the baby or the toddler, whatever you want to call it. And this looks like a pretty wild child to me. It's a kind of a typical Patrick Valenza child. Tony says the only Lenormand I use is Anaturians because it has guide cards to basic keywords for images. Number 14 card is the fox. It's pretty close from the regular to the paradoxical. Oh, hello, Red Wing, and nothing so strange. Welcome. Tom says to Saska, I agree. For me, the Della Luna series is where Patrick really shines. I love his use of color in them. He can be too garish otherwise. I kind of felt that way myself. I own the paradoxical Deviant Moon, and only because it was a FOMO purchase where it was going to be limited edition, not to be reprinted, and only 500, and I jumped on a pre-order. But I still haven't gotten around to getting the regular one. There's something about the regular one. It's got bright colors and stuff, but it also has this industrial or post-industrial look to the imagery that I don't quite gel with somehow. It's sort of like the darky back streets of industrial London, you know, and the turn of the 20th century or something. Here's the bear, number 15. TDL is going mass market. What's TDL? Trionfi Della Luna is going mass market. Is that true? I guess it sort of makes sense. Although you can expect, if it's going mass market U.S. games, you're going to get those nasty copyright stamps on them. So definitely buy from Patrick direct. Number 16, I had to pause a second and double check my memory. This is the stars or star. At first I wasn't sure, is this the sun or is this the star? But it's obviously the stars. Guess it's more noticeable on the paradoxical card because of the darkened sky. The decks on website will be out of print soon. Oh. Is it the illustrated going mass media or the pips? Bye, Kristen. Check back later for the rest of the images, Kristen. Here is number 17, the stork. Little odd because we've got sort of a part human, part stork character, or a person wearing a stork costume. For those of you familiar with Lenormand, are these images working for you, or do they veer too far off the path for you to use? This one bothers me a little bit. Number 18 is the dog. And the dog is usually like loyal friend. But this one is like the dog in The Fool, that's sort of like almost a vicious dog. And somehow I don't equate that with loyal friend. So this card as Lenormand doesn't quite work for me as well. I have to really stretch myself to use this one. If Deanne was here, she'd say, sip, sip. Oh, hello, L. Phillips. Now we're on to number 19, the tower. The tower in Lenormand is different from the tower in tarot. The tower in tarot is generally unexpected changes. The tower in Lenormand usually is climbing to a height where you can get a different perspective on things, which is sort of more similar to the Hanged Man. L. Phillips, I think I could read this. I have several of his TDLs, and as much as I like them, I cannot read with them. It's so weird. This is a beauty. 20 is the garden. This is sort of a not typical garden card, but it works. The garden in Lenormand usually has to do with kind of community meetings or activities, like people that gather together in a garden for a chit chat or some kind of social gathering. So I suspect Sandra likes this one. This also reminds me of, if you've seen Disney's Alice in Wonderland, the flowers in that one, how they have certain attitudes in terms of their chit-chat with one another. Anne says, I find I have to shift to a different frequency when I'm tapping in and using Patrick's decks for reading. It's a very different energy, but if you're willing to go there, it can be very deep. Oh, Sandra, you'll get a kick out of this one. This is the mountain or mountains, number 21. Isn't that fun? I love that we don't have just one mountain, but it's like a bunch of grumpy old men. You know? And these are a really wonderfully workable size, I think, these cards. 22 is, the paths. It's obvious. I think most of them are obvious as to what they are. How do you guys feel about the paradoxical versus the original? I think for me, the paradoxical is sort of a novelty. I tend to prefer the original version. Now this one, you guys, I'm not sure what to make of this. Tell me if you find this offensive. This is the rat, but look at the faces on the rats. Do you think that there's... do I even go there? Let me just say, do you find these images offensive? Does this tend to draw you somewhere that maybe Patrick didn't really intend? Or is this just a silly-faced rat? It kind of bothers me, but I'm not sure. I might be overthinking it. Okay, other people are not seeing what I'm seeing. If you look into old cartoon racist imagery, you will see something here relating to a particular race, which is an offensive depiction. And I can't tell whether that's found its way into this deck or not. Here is, this is the heart card. This is from the cover of the tins, and it's beautiful. It's the image that actually instantly drew me to place an order. Tom says, I think it's the climate of today filtering your thoughts. Okay. The ring. Hello, Jenny. Jenny just dropped by to say hello and learn. You're not going to be learning a whole lot today other than the difference between these two versions of this deck, because I'm not really telling you very much about how to read Lenormand. It's more like just seeing whether the art in this deck is one that might appeal to you if you want to add to your Valenza collection or your Lenormand collection. I like this one, the book with the 3 arms. I like that Patrick is building a community of different kinds of characters and images that we're getting to know. Here's the letter. This will look familiar to me. At first, when I saw this, I thought, oh, which card is this? And I figured, oh, it must be the man. And actually, I would have to drag out his Della Luna deck to see if this exactly mirrors the page or king of wands in the Trionfi Della Luna. I'm not sure. I don't have that right at hand. I didn't think to grab it. Tom says, I know there are people who take offense to his viewed exploitation and trivialization of the mental health state, but I don't think there is any ill will there at all. Nothing So Strange says, I heard that when Disney made the animated Aladdin, they argued for months about nose shapes. It's a cultural hotspot. And here we have number 29, The Woman. Now, unlike a lot of other decks recently, Patrick doesn't give us variations or extra cards. So we don't have two men, two women. We just have a man, a woman. And then next, this one confused me slightly too, except the depiction of the flower was very obviously a lily. So this is the lily rather than a woman card. And next we have 31, the sun card. Nice face on the sun in Egypt by the pyramids. I think I have another Lenormand. Is it the mystical Lenormand? I believe depicts an Egyptian version of the sun. Not sure why. Whether that influenced Patrick. Not sure. I mean, this wasn't Ra the sun god. It was very big in Egypt. Maybe that's why he did that. I don't know. Here we've got the moon card, which is not meant to mimic the tarot moon card, although it's kind of interesting that you've got a stream and sort of two towers on a bridge there. Beautiful moon, though. The key. Many of you will like the key card with a skeleton skull head. Nice key. Well, Phillips likes both versions. What's true? People will take offense at others breathing if they could. I like this one. This is the fish. The fish has always been a sort of a difficult card for me to read. I did reconcile the meaning for myself, but I love this fish sticking its tongue out. Another one that I think will tickle Sandra. And I like that he sort of made them like carp or goldfish. Update, this has made it into a shopping cart, but have not pulled the trigger yet. You've got two cards yet to decide, Tom. Here is the anchor, number 35, with a fish sort of straggling over from the fish card. I also recommend, if you are interested to learn how to read Lenormand, I took an online course with a bunch of other tarot tubers put out by Kelly of Truth and Story. I believe it was in 2 or 3 parts, and I didn't take the whole one. I only took the initial one that had to do with how to read the cards rather than how to deal with the grand tableau and larger spreads. But it was very good, I think, in terms of discerning what the key meanings of the cards might be. Now, the only thing I can see that might be a detriment for people with this deck is that the cards are not labeled. Most Lenormand decks do have a word label on the card to identify what the card is. But you can quickly pick these up, and most of them you can tell just by looking at it. This is the cross, number 36, which is not the same as the coffin or death. This is more like a cross to bear. So there are subtle differences in meanings between the systems. So there are the 2 decks. It's, not a thick deck, 36 cards. It shuffles really easily. It's your typical Patrick Valenza stock that's, flexible, slight sheen to it, neither matte nor a high gloss. What do you guys think? Kelly's Lenormand class playback is available for purchase. Ange put in a link. Thank you, Ange. Update. This has made it into a shopping. Oh, okay. What's the verdict, Tom? And everybody, while you're still here, you might want to know Tom is joining me next Saturday, and we are going to talk about major arcana decks. So join us for that. Let's see, 1248. Ange loves his little personal touches. Sorry, still coughing. Patrick drew a fish on the inside of the shipping box. My purple paradoxical Lenormand Della Luna. It looks like the fish card. Antoinette shall be stalking the postman until it arrives. Okay, Tom's going to order it. Simon, are you still there? Did you order? Did you order before my walkthrough, or during, or after, or are you having second thoughts? We have a little over an hour before Simon's Saturday cup of catch-up and cards. You might want to mosey over there and look at that in an hour. We all have a nice party there on Saturdays after your little party here. Let me see. Maybe I'll do, in closing, I'll do a 3-card reading here of the Lenormand. Simon is, and he didn't. Tony ordered it first hour of release. Not that I was waiting or anything. There's a Robert M. Place talk happening at Artisan Tarot in 10 minutes, says Tom. There you go. Oh, nice, nice, nice. Oh. I like this. Okay, so we've got a spread. I always work from the center out, as you know, if you follow my readings. Center card is the dog or loyal friend. Aren't we all loyal friends here? Opens with the key and closes with the path. I would say our loyal friends are the key to where we go, where we follow, and the path we take or choose to take or choose to follow. So, all of you tuning in today, you may choose to take the path of Lenormand and purchase this deck and discover what Lenormand's all about. You may go your own paths. You may join others in the tarot community to pursue your paths and study with cards. And yeah, I think this is a nice thing. I like that the friend card is the center card. I don't know if I can hold all three of them together very well, but there you go. Oh, I can't do this backwards. Oh my God, this is like juggling or something. I think you can see. You're welcome. Thankfully, I don't need this deck, but I did enjoy seeing the cards. Thank you, Ange, for watching and hanging out and supplying links. It's 72 pounds with shipping. Yeah, I think it was $45 US dollars here. I can't remember how much the shipping was. I think it came to like 60, 50, high 50s or 60 something for me. And as I said, he did throw in the extra deck, the paradoxical, but I don't know if that was an error or if he knows me and that was a gift. There's no note in the package, but I appreciate that he did that, and I hope that my little walkthrough will lead to some sales for him. Many of you, I think, even if you don't like Lenormand, will appreciate this as an art deck. It's a nice little tin of art cards to thumb through every once in a while. So there you go. Thanks for joining me. It's about 7 minutes short of the hour, but I think I'll leave you with that. And I hope to see you all join me and Tom next week. Bye, folks. Have a great week.